An ordinance authorizing a contract with Building Crafts, Inc. for the construction of a sludge processing and biosolids management improvements at the wastewater treatment plant and declaring an emergency.
So moved for adoption.
Second.
Mr. Sturridge.
I think I need to start out by saying I do not intend to make a habit of bringing these types of contracts in front of you. It seems like between last meeting and this meeting, of course, this one's a lot smaller. But just like the long-term control plan we talked about the last time, this project's been in the works since 2001. Currently, we produce Class B sludge, and what that means, it's a highly regulated material that is prone to nuisance odors. Upgrades were incorporated into our 2003 NPDES permit. They required us to deal with these nuisance odors. And then in 2003, you all authorized a study to look at what was the best way to address these issues. We looked at cost issues such as cost of construction, which is what we're here tonight, as well as the ongoing operational costs. But we also looked at some of the non-cost parameters such as the public acceptance and, more importantly, or maybe just as equally as important, regulatory compliance. Obviously, the Class B regulations are becoming more and more stringent. We couldn't continue to do what we were doing. The schematic here basically shows you the treatment process. And the simplest way to describe it is the flows are separated into their liquid component, which is treated, disinfected, and discharged to the river, and then the solid component, which is treated, dewatered, and then land applied. What we are talking about tonight with these improvements is to the solids component of the treatment process. The two major components being digestion, which is what the ATAD system is, as well as drying and bulking. That's another part of dressing that up, so to speak. In the end, we will be creating a Class A material. Again, addresses the compliance issues, as well as creates a material that you can put on your tomato garden. It does not have the regulatory restrictions that Class B does. The next slide. Really, in a nutshell on this slide, the biggest part here is ATAD digestion. I don't even want to try to pronounce what the acronym stands for, but it's an aerobic digestion process. It cooks the sludge. It kills the bugs that tend to reconstitute and create a lot of the odors. The biggest part of this, it maintains compliance with the EPA permit, but some of the, as I said earlier, some of the cost issues that it addresses on the operational side, it reduces our material by at least 50%. Now onto the details. Bids are received from 4 contractors. This is a pretty big project, requires quite a bit of resources. The bids range from, good, you fixed that. Bids range from $13,329,766 to $15,388,424. While they are a little bit over the original engineer's estimate, they are really close to each other. They are good bids for a project of this size. The second low was within $100,000 of the low. So this is the cost of this project. Building Crafts, Inc. submitted the lowest and best bid. So we are recommending award of the contract to them tonight. Currently, how we have this financed is we have $5.33 million in the capital budget currently for this in cash, and we will bond the remaining $8 million over the next 20 years to cover the total cost. And again, I want to point out this is all sewer money. There are no general fund monies involved in this project. So with that, happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thanks for pointing out there's no general fund monies, number one. And the reason for that, I think the former, actually it would have been a commission at the time, that these are independent funds. And these are some of the funds that never commingle with our general fund. So this is a standalone situation, not involving anything having to do with our operating budget.
Dave, dealing with a a project such as this, where we're talking $13 million, and you've got two bids that are less than $90,000 apart, have we dealt with building crafts before? Do you have some information as to why you chose that? Because $90,000 is just so close between these two, and it's such a huge project.
We have not worked with them specifically. They do a lot of work for the city of Cincinnati, both water and wastewater, and quite frankly, this is not a large job for them. They've come highly recommended. We've checked references. We are very comfortable with them.
Okay. And we really haven't dealt with any of these companies before?
No, I've heard of one or two of them, but no, I have not dealt with them myself.
Okay. But you feel comfortable with the recommendations that you've received from other cities and the work?
We actually had a pre-award interview with a lot of questions, detailed questions about the bid, making sure they didn't miss anything. That was last week, just so that we can come here comfortably and say they know exactly what it is we were expecting.
Okay, because we certainly would want to get into this and get change orders because all of a sudden something was missed. And
we put a lot of effort in some of the details even after it was originally put out the bid. This was originally going to come to you before the long-term control plan, but we wanted to make sure I wanted to make sure we got the details to get a good bid. I wasn't as worried about the time frame of when we got to this point.
Yeah, that was more important. You're right. Okay. Good. Thank you.
What are the projected terms of the bonding? What kind of length are we looking at for those? Have we projected that?
Typically looked at 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously we can do whatever, but that's what we have historically done.
All right, and that's factored into the sewer rates we've recently approved and the plan for those in terms of the ongoing potential increases and.
Yes, I opened when we opened the bids, one of the first things I did was take the latest financial plan for the sewer fund, in fact, put this into the equation, and we're still good.
Okay.
I mean, it only looks so many years out.
Right.
But the other point I want to make, which plays well with the discussion we had last week, when we talk about the long-term control plan and the affordability, and there's some level, some finite number that constitutes what's affordable by way of total dollars, the 2% median household income. You can look at it as there's only so many eggs in this basket. We've just taken some of those eggs that we're already going to be committed to for some project that is very worthwhile out of that basket. In the end, and this is probably not a popular statement, but in the end, when we spend the dollars through that program, we've at least put some dollars in something that I feel is very important and very good for Middletown.
But again, this is an enterprise fund having nothing to do with our general fund. I may wear you folks out with that the next few weeks.
I just want to make sure we're responsible.
Excellent.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?